Hey, my name's James Nicholson. I hope you guys are well. In this video, I want to talk about the Federal Reserve, the American rate setting agency. You see, they had their meeting yesterday. The Bank of England have had theirs today. And it's interesting to look at what the Fed are saying because they've given us some real signals here on when we will expect rate cuts. Now, why does that matter to us in the UK? Well, we actually are very likely to follow the Fed. That's a common phrase used in the markets. You see, the Bank of England, they don't like to go out on their own very often. They like to see what happens in America first, and then they likely copy or do something very, very similar in most occasions. And that's because our currencies are very interlinked and various other reasons as well. So we're going to go into what the Fed's doing, how that's going to impact UK property, and much, much more. So before we jump into that, as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. We've got new content every single day. At the moment, we've got a couple of videos a day because there's so much going on this week. So you want to subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on those, and smash the like button or tickle the like button. Do something to the like button, guys. That upsets some of you. But come on, it really helps the channel grow. Every time you smash that like button, that helps us get more views on the channel. We want to get 5 million views this year. So if you do that, that will help greatly. So Jerome Powell had his Federal Reserve meeting late last night in the UK, and they've decided to hold interest rates. And they have a range on their interest rate. So they have a rate that is 5.25 to 5.5. Rather than a specific number. And so they're holding it there, similar to the Bank of England and what they did today. Now, if you want to know what's going on with the Bank of England, I've actually made a video on that already this afternoon. So if you go and check out the videos on the channel, you can see what we spoke about and what happened in the UK version of this. Now, the Federal Reserve is something that we need to really keep an eye on, because we know that what's likely to happen is when the Americans start dropping rates, that's when we're going to seriously look at dropping rates ourselves. And so that is something that the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell has been speaking about. And what's the difference between the British and the Americans? So the Bank of England's policy is not to really tell you what is coming down the line. And that actually makes more sense to me. So the Bank of England will always say, look, we're not ruling out anything. We don't know when we're going to cut rates and stuff like that. Because as soon as they tell you, let's just say the Bank of England dropped the rates, right? And they just said, look, we're going to drop rates in May. I have a purchase that I've got going through that we've agreed on today, which I do. I would myself say, hold on, I want to wait until May and really slow things down because I want to see what rates I can get in May, because there's a chance that they could drop, right? And that's what happens. Now, look, the Federal Reserve, they're a bit more open about this. And so they, because they haven't dropped this month, there was a little worry that they might not have as many rate cuts in 2024, but they've indicated that they are going to cut 3 times in 2024. That's good. That's what the markets are pricing in as well. And that means that we're going to go down at least 0.75 base points. So we'll have 0.25% cut, most likely 3 times this year. Now, probably won't be till the summer, and then the UK will follow very closely after that. Now, what's interesting with all of this is that the UK normally, I think we had one meeting recently where it went the other way around, but we normally go the day after the Federal Reserve. And I'm sure there's conversations that they have and they can really understand what's going to happen with the Federal Reserve. The Bank of England can the day before. And so why they're not moving quicker is because in the USA, things are doing pretty good. We're in a recession in the UK. whereas in America, they've got good growth at the moment. It's around 3%, which is pretty good, whereas we're in a recession technically at the moment. They've also got record low unemployment in the USA as well. So their unemployment is below 4% at the moment, and that's held for the last 2 years. So we've got record unemployment, you've got good GDP growth, and so it means that they don't need to be as quick to reduce rates as what other countries might need to be. So the UK effectively could go into a worse recession, not looking like it will, but it could, and then we might have to cut rates to stimulate the economy. America, things are going pretty well. Inflation is also dropping there faster than it is in the UK. So what does this mean for us? Well, what this means is that, look, we're not going to cut rates, which we didn't today. That just was off the cards straight away. We knew instantly, no rate cut. And I think everyone knew, both parties, the Fed and the Bank of England, were unlikely to do that. And what it means is you're probably not going to see massive jumps or decline in house prices either. There's still some pent-up demand in the market. There's lots of people that probably want to buy. Some of those jumped in January, which we saw in the UK. We saw people jump back into the market because mortgage rates went down, didn't they? Since then, they've gone up a little bit. Over the last few days, we've had a few more drops, smaller drops this time, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But what we're seeing is that the market is not quite as busy as January at the moment. It has slowed down a little bit, and there is people just waiting and seeing what will happen. So house prices wise, I think you're going to see a pretty flat market for the next few months. You'll get the spring activity around Easter. There is always more activity as the seasons change and it gets a little bit warmer in the UK. People like to start looking for properties and hopefully get those deals done by the summer. I think that will be pretty much a flat market. But I think that when the interest rates do drop, I think that you'll see a little bit of a spike in house prices. It might not be massive, might just be 1%, but I think it will bring some more people that are waiting and seeing back into the market, and they'll start looking at buying some properties and buying some assets. That's where I think things will be. What do you think? And when do you think the Federal Reserve will drop rates? That's the question I've got for you today. When do you think, comment below, when do you think Jerome Powell will finally drop rates? Because that is the big indicator for the UK market. And the sooner the better, in my opinion. There's a lot of articles you can see on Google News already where some people are saying rates in America should be cut already. A lot of people feel that we should just be getting on with it now. The inflation is going to come down regardless of what happens. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Do smash the like button, guys. Do subscribe. Do check out some more content on my channel. We've got more than 700 videos now. So why don't you go and watch this one right here.